This is the Redmi Note 6 Pro by Xiaomi. I really enjoyed the Note 5 last year. It was a great bang for your buck device. So does this phone live up to its predecessor? Let's find out. At first glance, the phone does look really good. There's a notch on the top and a chin on the bottom. Even though the phone looks modern, I didn't really like the notch on this phone. I mean, it's bigger than most phones I've ever used. Even in budget smartphones, there are phones that have smaller bezels. So I honestly wish the bezels were slightly smaller and the notch was smaller. It will just make the phone look so much better. If you have used a Redmi device in the last 3 years, you would have an idea how these phones feel. This phone feels exactly like that. And the back is identical to the previous Redmi phones. It's the same plastic frame with a metal slab. And even though the metal feels nice in the hand, I'm getting really bored of this design. We have been using this design since the Redmi 4. I think it's time to change things up a bit. While other brands are focusing on glass and crazy different colors that make the device stand out and feel like an extension of your own personality, Xiaomi is still reusing the same design with the same industrial construction. So the build quality in this phone is pretty decent. I mean, it doesn't feel bad, but the notch and the chin is really big. In my opinion, the overall design is starting to get stale. Even though I'm not much fan of the build quality, one thing that this one does the best in the least price is performance. I'm fully willing to go on record and say that Xiaomi has the best gesture navigation. Gesture navigation is a joke on stock Android, and most other brands haven't really implemented it in this way. Huawei has also done a good job, but right now it's only available in the Mate 20 and not in the budget phones. But here, Xiaomi is giving fully formed, really responsive gesture navigation on a budget. That is just crazy. And this is my favorite feature in the phone. It feels so good and responsive. It's not perfect, there are frame drops here and there, but man, the device just feels so smooth. Going around the UI is a pure joy. Unfortunately, because Google messed up gesture navigation so badly, Xiaomi had to make it themselves. So this only works with their own launcher. If you know me, the first thing I do is I remove the stock launcher and use Nova launcher. But now, if I want the gestures to work properly and the device to feel this responsive, I have to use a stock launcher. It took me some time, it took me quite a lot of time to be honest, but I was able to set up the stock launcher in a way that I want. I feel like it's too limited, the lack of an app drawer hurts it quite a lot, and there's just not much customization. In the end, I ended up putting all the apps that I didn't want on the home screen in a folder, and then use a side launcher app like Meteor Swipe to sort of unofficially create my own app drawer. And this arrangement does work really well. But I still wish I didn't have to jump through so many hoops to make the device work as I intended to work. It should be the other way around. Other than my initial problem with the launcher, everything else in the phone is pretty smooth. The Snapdragon 636 is a really good processor, and I think 4GB of RAM is a decent amount for a budget smartphone. There's not much lag, and apps open really quickly. The games run well because the GPU is also really good. As far as raw performance goes, usability, the fingerprint sensor, the app opening speed, and general things like that. With those things, I can't be happier. The phone performs really well in that regard. So to sum things up, the gesture navigation is the best you can get on Android right now. The launcher takes getting used to, but other than that, the performance is absolutely solid. The display panel has 1080p resolution and it's 6.2 inches in size. I'm happy with the resolution and I'm happy with the size. It's not too big and it's comfortable to use. And I'm also happy with the quality as well. When you are watching movies or TV or playing games, it does look like a decent display. But when you open an app like, let's say, Play Store or Instagram, or any app with a lot of white background, you will see that the white balance is a bit off. It feels like there is a blue tint, and at those times, it does feel like a budget display. But really at this price, I'm not really going to complain about that. Long story short, it's a decent display, it does the job well, and for the price, it's pretty good. Xiaomi is sort of infamous for its cameras. Of course, when you are trying to make a budget phone, you need to pick your strengths. And to reach that magical price, you need to cut the corners at least somewhere. And usually in Xiaomi phones, it's the camera. The camera was okay in the Mi A1 and it was decent in the Note 5 Pro. So my expectations for the camera were pretty low. However, after using the camera, it's a completely different story. This time the camera is actually really good. It's capable of taking some really great shots and the portrait mode is so good. Xiaomi has really stepped up its game in the camera. I'm really surprised by the edge detection. There are in total 4 cameras in this phone. But all you need to know is that this time the camera is actually really good. I don't mean that it's good for the price. I mean that it's actually a good point and shoot. Like if I was getting this camera in a higher price, I'd still be pretty happy. So overall, I'm really happy with the camera in this phone. There's a 4000 mAh battery on this phone and it's a really good battery. On normal usage you can push it to 2 days easily. Overall I feel like the weakest part of this phone is this build quality. But even then, because of the camera, the performance, the battery, this is the best phone you can get for the least price. So if you can get over the build quality, I'm pretty sure that you will be happy with this phone.